He looked me straight in the eye, a man of 72, and said quietly, "Doc, I've been doing it the same way for 50 years. But lately, something's gone numb." He wasn't on medication. He wasn't sick. But what had quietly crept into his life was disconnection, not from others, but from his own body. From his energy, his vitality, his ability to feel. Now, here's the truth that many men over 60 never hear: it's not your age. It's your habits. After 60, the same actions that once brought relief and connection can slowly begin to harm your nervous system, your heart, your prostate, and even your mental health. And the most surprising part, it's not the act itself. It's how, when, and why you're doing it. In this video, we're going to uncover 7 common masturbation mistakes older men make, habits that quietly weaken circulation, dull sensation, and drain emotional connection. You'll learn not only what's going wrong, but how to restore your body's natural rhythm, reclaim confidence, and reconnect with your sense of masculinity without shame pills or guesswork. For anyone who values over 60 wellness, this is the type of knowledge we wish someone had told us sooner. Backed by real cases and senior urology insights, this guide blends doctor tips for older adults with the kind of emotional awareness rarely talked about. Whether you're focused on healthy aging, senior health, or simply want to live healthy after 50, this message is for you. If this helps you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Live Healthy After 50, and share your thoughts below. Here's a question for you. Do you believe your body still has the ability to feel fully even at your age? Let's find out together, because what's quietly stealing your vitality might not be age at all. It might be the way you've been taught to ignore your body. Now let's dive into the first mistake and why it's rewiring your brain in ways you never imagined. Number 1, losing sensation from overuse of adult content. There's something most men aren't told about pleasure, especially after 60. The very thing that once felt exciting, private, even comforting, can slowly begin to numb you from the inside out. Let's be clear, it's not the act itself that's the issue, it's what's fueling it and how often. Over the past decade, an increasing number of men have quietly admitted something they never thought they'd say. It doesn't feel the same anymore. Some blame age. Others assume they're just tired or disconnected. But the real reason often comes down to overstimulation, specifically from watching pornography too frequently. Take Robert, 69, a retired teacher from Indiana. He came to his doctor, confused. "I still try," he said, "but nothing feels the way it used to. I don't know what's changed." He was healthy, no new medications, but he had developed a habit spending nearly every evening with his phone scrolling videos that over time began to lose their spark. Here's why that matters. Your brain's reward system is fueled by dopamine, a chemical that gives you the feeling of pleasure, satisfaction, and emotional connection. As we age, this system naturally becomes less sensitive. It's a normal part of healthy aging. But when that system is constantly bombarded by highly stimulating, fast-paced visual content, it stops responding the way it used to. Studies from institutions like the Max Planck Institute have shown that repeated exposure to adult content can desensitize the brain's pleasure centers. It creates a feedback loop where more intense stimulation is needed to achieve the same effect. That means over time, real-life touch, presence, or intimacy feels dull in comparison, or worse, feels like nothing at all. This isn't just about performance, it's about connection. Men who rely heavily on visual stimulation often find it harder to connect emotionally with a partner. They become more focused on the screen than the person, or they begin to lose interest altogether, assuming something is wrong with their body. But it's not always the body, it's the rewiring of the brain that's quietly stealing the sensation. When you're over 60, your body asks for something different: slowness, presence, intention. But when the brain is trained to expect fast edits, loud sounds, and high novelty, it becomes less responsive to subtlety. And that subtlety, the warmth of a hand, the closeness of breath, the feeling of safety, is what real intimacy is made of. It's no surprise that many men over 60 feel like they've lost it. They haven't. They've just dulled their ability to notice it. This can lead to more than just physical numbness, emotional flatness, difficulty focusing, lack of motivation, all linked to dopamine burnout. And for seniors already navigating changes in energy circulation and hormone levels, this added layer makes it even harder to feel alive. But here's the good news. The brain can recover, just like muscle memory. Pleasure can return. Sensitivity can come back. but it takes awareness and often a pause from the very habits we've normalized. So if you've felt disconnected, if you've noticed touch doesn't feel like it used to, if pleasure has become routine or mechanical, this may be the root cause. You're not broken, you're not too old, and you're certainly not alone. What your body is asking for now isn't more stimulation. It's more care, a chance to feel again, to reconnect with the simple, natural experience of being touched physically, emotionally, and spiritually. This is part of what it means to live healthy after 50. To understand how habits shape senior health and how small changes can restore joy, connection, and even hormonal balance. It's not about shame, it's about waking up and choosing a new path. For men focused on natural health for seniors and aging gracefully, this awareness is a turning point. Because true over 60 wellness isn't just about medications and exercise. It's about reconnecting with yourself in every way that matters. Keep watching. The next mistake may be hiding in the one place you've always considered safe. Number 2, the hidden danger of masturbating on the toilet. At first it seems harmless. A quiet space. The door is locked, no interruptions. For many older men, the bathroom becomes the only place that feels private enough for release. But what feels convenient can slowly become harmful. Especially after 60, when your body's systems require more care, not less. Most men don't realize it, but sitting on the toilet while stimulating yourself places serious strain on your pelvic region. When you're hunched forward, hips compressed, and bearing weight on your lower spine, you're cutting off the very blood flow that keeps your prostate, bladder, and sexual organs healthy. Over time, that pressure adds up. Carl, 67, from Tennessee, started noticing changes he couldn't explain. First, a mild ache in his groin after using the restroom. Then the need to push harder to fully urinate. Eventually, it turned into dribbling and an uncomfortable heaviness that wouldn't go away. He thought it was just part of aging, but it wasn't. It was the result of years spent in one position, repeating a private habit he never thought twice about. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. As we get older, blood vessels in the lower body become less flexible. Circulation to the pelvic area decreases naturally. When you sit for long periods, especially in a posture that curves the spine and compresses your abdomen, that restriction becomes worse. Add in the tension from stimulation and you're placing the prostate under constant pressure. The prostate doesn't respond well to that kind of environment. Over time, it can swell slightly even if there's no infection. That swelling can block the flow of urine, irritate nerves, and cause feelings of incomplete emptying. And if you already have an aging bladder or mild enlargement, this one habit could make it far worse. According to the National Institutes of Health, men over 60 are already at higher risk of benign prostatic hyperplasia, a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate. Prolonged sitting in this position only accelerates the discomfort. Many men report soreness, urgency, or a sense of needing to go again minutes after finishing. The problem is most never connect these symptoms to the toilet. This isn't about shame, it's about awareness. The human body, especially the male pelvic floor, was never designed to hold stress and pressure in this way. And when it does, it begins to break down in small, quiet ways. What's more, the nerves responsible for arousal control and sensation also travel through the pelvis. When they're compressed day after day, year after year, they become less responsive. You might start to notice a delay in reaction or a dullness where there used to be warmth. This has nothing to do with desire. It has everything to do with blood flow and positioning. For men who care about senior health and aging gracefully, this is an opportunity to reclaim control, to adjust small habits that can make a massive difference in how the body feels, not just in the bedroom, but every time you visit the bathroom. If you've noticed any signs like weak flow, dribbling discomfort after release, or trouble relaxing your bladder, it may not be aging alone. It may be how you're sitting and what you're doing during those moments. The solution doesn't have to be complicated. Try changing your environment. Find a space that allows you to stand or recline. Avoid compressing your lower abdomen. Support your back. Let your pelvic floor open up naturally. Because when you reduce that tension, your body responds. Blood flows better, nerves begin to recover, and the sense of pressure and strain starts to ease. This is what it means to live healthy after 50, learning the small adjustments that protect your long-term function. Not just surviving, but truly thriving in the later decades of life. No pills, no procedures, just awareness. For anyone focused on over 60 wellness, this is one of those quiet lessons we wish someone had told us earlier. Your prostate is speaking to you, not with words, but with signs. It's time to listen. Because when it comes to natural health for seniors, prevention is always more powerful than repair. Number 3, rushing the experience, the hidden cost of hurrying pleasure. There's a quiet shift that happens in a man's life as the years go by. Tasks take priority. Time feels limited. Even private moments that were once full of presence turn into something you simply get through. And for many men over 60, self-pleasure becomes just that, a routine, a habit, a way to release tension quickly and move on. But rushing through this experience comes with a price. Hormones like oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin are released most powerfully when the body is relaxed, when the mind is present, and when you allow yourself to feel. These are the very chemicals responsible for mood, motivation, and connection. When you rush, you lose them. John, 66, a former contractor from Arizona, shared something that stayed with me. He said, "I still do it, but it doesn't leave me feeling better. I just feel empty." He thought it was age. He thought he was just burned out. But what he didn't see was that his body never had time to fully release the right hormones. Instead of pleasure, he was training his body to feel stress. When you rush, your nervous system enters a mild fight or flight state. Your heart rate rises too fast. Muscles tense. Breathing becomes shallow. That tension blocks the full cascade of hormones your body is designed to release. You may climax, but instead of feeling calm or connected, you feel drained. Worse, the brain starts to associate intimacy with tension. Over time, that creates a feedback loop. The more rushed the experience, the less rewarding it becomes. And eventually, the desire itself starts to fade. Not because you've lost your drive, but because your body isn't receiving the full benefit anymore. Many men don't realize that the quality of arousal changes after 60. It's not supposed to be quick or forceful. It's supposed to be slower, more grounded, more conscious. That's how you unlock the real pleasure, the kind that renews you rather than empties you. The Cleveland Clinic notes that stress hormones like cortisol can directly interfere with sexual function in older adults. High cortisol suppresses testosterone, increases fatigue, and dulls the brain's reward pathways. That's why feeling rushed even when you're alone can leave you more anxious than relaxed. For men who care about healthy aging, this is a major insight. Because this isn't just about one private habit. It's about how your body responds to everything: your sleep, your mood, your heart, and your energy. You don't need to perform, you need to pause. That pause is the secret to restoring what age never took away: your ability to feel deeply, fully, without pressure. For those pursuing over 60 wellness and natural health for seniors, this shift is key. It's not about avoiding pleasure. It's about reclaiming the right kind of pleasure, the kind that builds you back up, not tears you down. So what's the solution? Slow down, take time, set aside the need to finish quickly. Breathe. Let your body catch up to your thoughts. Give your nervous system space to soften. This is the path of senior health that honors both your biology and your dignity. You are not a machine. You are a living, sensing being. To age gracefully means to give yourself the permission to be present, not just in public, but even in your most private moments. This is the deeper meaning of living healthy after 50. Not just staying alive, but staying connected, mind to body, emotion to sensation. If you've ever felt unsatisfied after rushing the experience, now you know why. And you know it's not too late to change. Your body still remembers how to feel. It's waiting for you to slow down enough to feel it again. Number 4, the forgotten power of the pelvic floor. There's a muscle group in your body that you've likely never thought about. You can't see it. You can't flex it in the mirror. But if you're a man over 60, it quietly holds the key to your bladder control, sexual strength, and even your sense of confidence. It's your pelvic floor. And if you've been ignoring it like most men do, you may already be feeling the consequences. Tom, 68, from Ohio, came in frustrated. He exercised 3 times a week, ate clean, didn't smoke, but he noticed things weren't working the way they used to. Less control, less sensation, and moments where he felt embarrassed by leaks or urgency. His story isn't rare. The pelvic floor is a group of muscles that sits like a hammock underneath your bladder, prostate, and sexual organs. It controls your ability to hold urine, sustain erections, and even feel during climax. When this system is strong, everything flows more smoothly, literally. But here's the problem. After 50, these muscles begin to weaken. And since they're not visible, most men never think to train them. Years of sitting, holding in stress, and not engaging the lower abdomen cause this group to grow dormant. And when that happens, you lose the silent support system that keeps everything else functioning well. Weak pelvic floor muscles can lead to leaking, dribbling, slower response during intimacy, and a subtle disconnect from your lower body. You may not even notice it at first, but it builds quietly. A 2018 review in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that pelvic floor dysfunction is one of the most underdiagnosed causes of erectile difficulty in older men. And yet the solution doesn't require medication or surgery. It requires awareness. Strengthening your pelvic floor is surprisingly simple. It begins with breathing, gentle tightening, not squeezing hard, not forcing, just learning to contract the same muscles you'd use to stop the flow of urine. Then release. That's it. Practice a few minutes a day. Breathe with intention, tighten, hold for 5 seconds, release. Do it again. Over time, this creates stronger muscle tone, better circulation, and a renewed connection to your core. Men who focus on daily habits for longevity know this: the smallest exercises often give the biggest results. This is part of natural health for seniors. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. What you'll notice first might be subtle. A little more control, less urgency, more sensation during arousal, and in many cases, a quiet return of confidence. Because when you strengthen from the inside out, the benefits ripple through your entire life. For men focused on senior health and over 60 wellness, this is one of the most overlooked pieces of the puzzle. Doctors don't often talk about it, but it matters. Not just for physical function, but for emotional peace of mind. You don't need to feel disconnected from your body. You don't have to accept decline as your only future. With just a few minutes a day, you can begin to rebuild the foundation of how you move, feel, and live. This is what it means to live healthy after 50. It's not just about diet and walking. It's about remembering the parts of your body that quietly carry you every day and giving them the attention they deserve. Your pelvic floor is not gone. It's just been waiting for you to notice it again. Number 5, too often or not at all, the silent cost of frequency. There's a rhythm to the human body. Like sleep, breathing, and eating, intimacy also has its natural pace. But for many men over 60, that rhythm becomes disrupted. Some overdo it, some give it up completely, and both choices carry consequences most people never talk about. When the frequency is too high, the body doesn't get time to recover. You may not notice the impact right away, but the prostate does. Repeated stimulation without enough rest can cause low-grade inflammation. It might not be painful at first, but it shows up as dull pressure, decreased sensitivity, a longer time to recover, and slowly a loss of desire that feels confusing. Mark, 71, from South Carolina, kept up his routine out of habit. He wasn't lonely, he wasn't bored, he just thought it was healthy. But over time, he noticed that he felt less afterward, not just physically, but emotionally. And worse, it took longer and longer to feel anything at all. His body wasn't broken, it was exhausted. On the other end of the spectrum are the men who stop altogether. Whether it's due to medication shame or the belief that age has closed that chapter, they simply shut the door. But the body doesn't forget, it adapts. Without regular circulation, the blood flow to the pelvic region decreases, nerve endings go quiet, the tissues that once responded to arousal slowly lose sensitivity, erections become weaker, climax becomes harder to reach, and often desire disappears, not from disinterest, but from disuse. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that sexual activity in older adults was directly linked to better cognitive health, improved cardiovascular function, and lower levels of depression. And yet many seniors feel unsure about what's too much or not enough. The truth is, there's no perfect number, but there is a healthy range. For most men over 60, 1 to 2 times per week, done with presence and care, is enough to maintain circulation, support hormonal balance, and keep the system alive without causing fatigue. The key is not quantity, it's intention. If it's rushed, mechanical, or used to escape stress, even once a week might feel draining. But if it's mindful, relaxed, and emotionally connected, the body can thrive with much less. This awareness matters. For those committed to senior health in over 60 wellness finding, your personal balance is part of aging gracefully. It's not about avoiding your needs, it's about honoring them, listening to what your body asks for, and letting go of what no longer serves you. Too much can dull your fire, too little can freeze your system. But the middle path, guided by awareness, restores not only sensation, but also self-respect. This is why natural health for seniors focuses on rhythm, not rules. and why daily habits for longevity include emotional as well as physical care. When you reconnect with your natural pace, everything changes. Your confidence returns, your body responds, and your experience of touch becomes fuller, richer, and more rewarding. Not because you're chasing performance, but because you're finally living in tune with yourself. This is the quiet wisdom of living healthy after 50, and it's never too late to rediscover it. Number 6, too much pressure. The damage you don't feel until it's too late. As men get older, sensation often changes. Things that once sparked immediate pleasure begin to feel muted, and without realizing it, many men respond the same way by increasing the pressure. More grip, more force, more intensity. But here's the truth. That extra pressure might be causing long-term harm to one of the most delicate areas of your body. Ronald, 70, from Michigan, started feeling discomfort during intimacy. It wasn't sharp pain, more like tightness. He also noticed a slight curve developing in his erection and began to feel less with each passing month. He had no idea it could be linked to how he was touching himself. What he was experiencing is more common than most realize. The penis is filled with soft tissues and sensitive nerve endings. When those tissues are repeatedly exposed to strong friction or heavy pressure, they begin to break down. You don't see it happening, but deep under the surface, small injuries start to form tiny tears in the connective tissue that don't heal cleanly. These micro-injuries can lead to fibrosis, scar tissue, a slow loss of elasticity, and over time this changes everything. The skin becomes less responsive. Erections may begin to curve or feel tight. Sensation dulls, and in some cases the damage becomes permanent. Not because something dramatic happened, but because of years of using more force than the body could safely handle. A 2021 study in Sexual Medicine Reviews found that high-pressure self-stimulation, especially in older men, can contribute to a condition known as Peyronie's disease. It's caused by scar formation in the erectile tissue and often leads to pain distortion or significant loss of sensitivity. But physical damage isn't the only consequence. There's also a mental shift that takes place. When pleasure requires more effort, more pressure, more intensity, just to feel something, the brain begins to disconnect from the process. It stops seeing pleasure as something gentle and affirming. It starts treating it like a struggle. That creates a harmful loop. The harder you try, the less you feel, and the less you feel, the harder you try. For men who care about senior health and over 60 wellness, this is a critical message. Because it's not about performance, it's about protection and about honoring your body in a new stage of life. If your grip is too tight, if your body feels sore after, or if you've noticed numbness where there used to be pleasure, this might be the reason, and it's not too late to change. Shift your focus from pressure to presence. Use your whole hand with gentleness. Let sensation build slowly. Let blood flow freely without compressing the tissue. Let your skin feel rather than fight. This is what natural health for seniors looks like: simple, mindful shifts that protect long-term function without pills, devices, or shame. The truth is, your body still works, but it needs a different kind of care now. Softer, slower, smarter. This is part of living healthy after 50, learning that real pleasure doesn't come from force. It comes from connection, from patience, from a quiet respect for your own anatomy. There's power in gentleness. There's strength in knowing how to listen. And sometimes the best way to protect your future is to stop pushing against your body and start working with it. Number 7, when there's no emotion, the quiet loss of connection. Some men say they still do it, but it doesn't mean anything anymore. No emotion, no purpose, just habit. At first, it may feel like a normal part of aging. The body still works. The motions are familiar, but something sacred begins to fade. And over time, what used to bring comfort becomes empty. Leonard, 74, from Colorado, had been divorced for years. He lived alone. He kept busy during the day, but late at night, he would find himself going through the motions, not out of desire, but out of routine. One night, he caught himself wondering, why am I even doing this? He wasn't feeling anything. Not pleasure, not peace, just silence. This isn't about dysfunction. It's about disconnection. The body may still respond, but the heart no longer shows up. And that's where the real loss begins. When self-touch is done without emotion, without intention, the nervous system stops linking it to meaning. The brain no longer releases the same healing chemicals. You get the movement, but not the reward. You reach climax, but feel no relief. Hormones like oxytocin, the ones that lift your mood and promote bonding, only surge when there is emotional presence. Without that, dopamine drops. Serotonin levels don't shift. You may feel more isolated afterward than before. The moment that was meant to restore you ends up making you feel more alone. According to a study in the archives of sexual behavior, older adults who maintain emotional connection during intimacy, even solo intimacy, report better sleep, stronger self-esteem, and lower rates of depression. But when touch becomes mechanical, the benefits disappear. And this kind of disconnect doesn't stay private. It can quietly spill into other parts of life. Less motivation, more irritability, a sense that joy is harder to reach. These are not just emotional states. They are physical responses to years of engaging the body without inviting the spirit. That's why this part of senior health matters so deeply. Touch was never meant to be hollow. Even when done alone, it can be gentle, personal, healing. A way to say to yourself, I am still here. I still matter. For men seeking over 60, wellness and natural health for seniors, reclaiming this emotional layer is essential, because it's not just about avoiding decline. It's about restoring something meaningful. Presence. Take a moment before, during, after. Breathe. Feel your own skin. Bring kindness into the act. Not because you have to, but because your body deserves it. This is part of living healthy after 50. It's not just nutrition and movement. It's honoring every part of being human, even the private ones. If your heart hasn't been part of the process for a while, that's okay. You can invite it back. You can choose to turn off the autopilot and turn on something deeper. It's never been about just keeping the body alive. It's about keeping the soul connected to it. The truth is, these mistakes don't come from weakness. They come from habit, from doing what once worked without realizing your body has changed. But here's the good news. You can change with it. You can relearn how to treat yourself with patience, with care, and with presence. Your body isn't broken. It's speaking more quietly now, asking you to slow down, to listen, to soften your grip and reconnect. Every touch can be sacred. Every breath can be healing. And even in this season of life, you still deserve intimacy that feels whole, real, and alive. If this video touched something in you, please share it with another man who needs to hear this. Help him feel less alone. Let's age with purpose, not just longer, but deeper. And if you haven't already subscribed to Live Healthy After 50, because longevity tips, senior health, and daily habits for longevity are more than just ideas, they're the path to living fully. Your health is your greatest wealth.